I'd like to welcome everybody to our event. You should have experienced the first couple of wine and food pairings. We'd appreciate it if you all kind of cease talking for a few minutes so we can make some presentations about the wine. First, I want to thank our venue, Sullivans, for hosting the fabulous event and allowing us to preview the restaurant. I want to thank Gavin, the manager, for helping facilitate the event, and Chef for the appetizers. I also want to thank Vinny, Rodolfo, and E-Corporation distributors for bringing Greg Graziano here to our event. I also want to thank Greg and Neely for helping with check-in and photography tonight. We will not be hosting a dinner this evening. We are going to have a happy hour after this event in this room with 50% off appetizers and more drinks at a special rate. So if you want to stay afterwards, we're going to just continue the party. If you want to stay for dinner afterwards, you can see the hostess up front, and we have some $25 off coupons off of a table for dinner. The wines you're tasting this evening are available at Amendment 21 in the Highlands. Tonight we have a discount if you find something you like, and they'll be filling the orders from this event. Please fill out the order forms and leave them at the check-in, and we'll get them to the store for pickup, or if you're nearby, they may deliver them. Our next event is on Thursday, May 9th, as we welcome Stuart Bourne from Australia. He's with Chateau Tanunda, which is part of the Banffy portfolio, part of Barossa Valley. We're going to be on the patio to indulge, and we hope you can join us. So please take a look at the meetup and on Court Denver to find information on the event. Greg Graziano is the owner and winemaker for Graziano Winery, and our guest this evening. Graziano Winery produces more than a dozen Italian varietals under the labels St. Gregory, Montevolpe, Enotria, and Graziano. The four labels are crafted to preserve each variety's integrity by employing time-honored old world cellar practices perfected by the gentle application of modern technology. Greg is the third-generation winemaker and wine grower who owns Graziano Family Wines, which sprung from Domaine St. Gregory in 2003. The Graziano Winery has been making wine and growing grapes in Redwood Valley since 1918. Greg Graziano began his winemaking career in 1976 as the founding partner and winemaker for the Milano Winery in Hopland, and in 1986 he became the winemaker for La Crema Winery. In 1988 he started his own winery, Domaine St. Gregory. Please give us 10 minutes now and some silence so our guests can talk about the wines in the winery, and please give a warm welcome to Greg Graziano.
Thank you very much. Well, it's an honor to be here this evening. If I'm not speaking loud enough, please let me know. Pretty much everything she said was true. I am a third-generation grape grower, winemaker in Mendocino. My family also grows grapes and used to have wineries in Piemonte in Italy. So we come from a long line of Italian winemakers and grape growers. So again, we have four brands. The St. Gregory brand is for all Pinots. You know, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, Pinotage, Pinot Blanc. The Montevolpe line is all Italian varietals, and the brand Enotria is all Italian varietals that are specific to Piemonte, where my family's from, which is northwestern Italy. So we do things like Arnese, Cortese, Moscato, Barbera, Dolcetto, occasionally Nebbiolo. A lot of unusual grapes. We grow numerous unusual varieties, mainly from Italy, and that's something that we're known for. We're probably the most diverse producer of Italian grape varieties in the world, all right, even more than Italy. And the Graziano brand is for old Mendocino varieties, things we've been growing there for a long time. Chenin Blanc, Sauvignon, we do Carignan, we do Syrah, Petit Syrah, and of course Zinfandel, which is one of the oldest, best grape varieties of Mendocino County. We are distributed in about 20 states, and we are also distributed in about 6 countries other than our own. So I travel, I'm the winemaker, the owner, the sales manager, I work out in the vineyards, I just do about everything. So it's a labor of love, and I really do enjoy it a great deal. Any questions? Really? Okay.
So how did you get started?
How did I get started? Of course, you know, when your family's growing grapes, I got started growing grapes in the vineyard with my father and my grandfather. So I went to UC Davis to study wine. When I left UC Davis early, never got my degree, I started as she said, I went to UC Davis, left Davis early, and started my first winery called Milano. Of course, I learned more from making wine than I ever learned in school. So that's really the way you want to go. But school does keep you from making some mistakes, right? A few.
What mistakes did you make?
What mistakes? Well, the best thing to do when you make wine is to make mistakes. Because if you make mistakes, you have to learn how to fix them, right? So I've made a few mistakes, and those mistakes are the most valuable because now I know how to fix everything that ever happens to the wine. And believe me, a lot of things can happen to wine. It's a really imperfect science.
Have you ever had a dump wine? Did you screw it up?
No, never. Never screwed it up that bad. But there is something that they call blending. So one of the realities is if you have a wine you don't like and you don't want to sell it to somebody else, what you do is you slowly blend it out in your other wines so nobody will notice it, right? That's one of the things you have to learn, right? So we do, as was said, we do a lot of wonderful old world practices. All of our white wines are fermented in French Burgundy barrels, not in stainless steel tanks. The only stainless steel tank fermented wine that we have here is Moscato. All of our wines are also aged in barrels for a very long time, as long as 2 and 3 years, every red wine we make. In America, most of the time it's like 6 months or it's a year, unless it's a very, very expensive Cabernet, and then maybe it's 18 months or 2 years. So that's something that's very traditional and very unique about what we do. We make a very inexpensive wine called Primo Rosso. It has some of every grapes that we make, and that wine sells for like 11, 12 bucks, 10 bucks, depending on where in the world you can find it. That wine also sells for it spends 2 years in barrels. No red wine you could ever buy in the marketplace would ever spend that long in barrels for that price. But that's what we do that makes us unique and different, and is also what makes our wines very good.
What do you make the most of?
Probably Zinfandel is one of our most popular varieties. Zinfandel is a relatively easy wine to sell. Everybody knows Zinfandel, right? Zinfandel is in fact one of the best varieties for Mendocino. So when it's one of the best wines, it's one of the best varieties. It's easy to sell more of it.
Did you plant those grapes?
Some of those grapes, the Zinfandel grapes, are from my family's vineyards, not planted by my grandfather, but planted by my cousins. So we do use some of our family grapes. In fact, one of the wines we're having this evening is Moscato, and some of those grapes were planted by my grandfather. Those vines are over 65 years old. But all these white wines that we have, including that one, are all from my new vineyards in Potter Valley, which is in Mendocino County, which is at the headwaters of probably the most beautiful river in California, the Russian River. One of the most important rivers, of course, of viticulture as well. And for the salmon. Wonderful, important salmon river as well. All right. Is that good enough? Yes, question.
Where are all the vineyards that you use?
Okay, well, all of our vineyards are located in Mendocino County, northern Mendocino County. Mendocino County is the next county north of Sonoma County, right? We're about 2 hours north of San Francisco, so we're not really very far. One of the reasons why our wines, you will notice, are such wonderful prices, because when I grow grapes, it doesn't cost me as much to raise them as I buy them. Or when I buy grapes from my growers, those grapes are all grown by 3rd and 4th generation growers like myself, so I'm paying half the price of the guys in Napa and Sonoma who have to buy their grapes. So I can charge a lot less money for my wines, and that's one reason why. So Mendocino County is a beautiful place, a wild, wonderful, rural place to live, and a great place to make wine.
What's the cost?
Wine you served tonight.
I'm sorry?
Loved all the wine you served tonight.
Thank you very much, yes.
What's kind of cost on dirt to grow acreage?
Well, in Mendocino County, if you went to go buy a vineyard in Napa, you would probably have to pay $100,000 to $300,000 an acre. You can buy an acre of grapes in Mendocino for about $35,000. That's a planted vineyard, right? So it's a much better deal. And we make our wines are, other than perhaps Cabernet, our wines in Mendocino are every bit as good or better than Napa. Trust me.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Rachel wants to make a quick announcement.